In the north of England, in a city called Chester, a story unfolded in the mid-2000s that would shock a nation and raise questions about one of the most trusted professions in the world, nursing. This is the story of Lucy Letby, a former neonatal nurse whose life took her from caring for the most vulnerable to becoming one of the most controversial figures in recent British legal history. Lucy Letby was born on January 4, 1990, in Hereford, England, the only child of a furniture salesman and an accounts clerk. From a young age, she showed an interest in working with children, a path that led her to study nursing at the University of Chester, where she specialized in child and neonatal care. After graduating in 2011 with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Lucy completed clinical placements at hospitals, including Liverpool Women's Hospital and the Countess of Chester Hospital, where she would later begin her career full-time as a neonatal nurse. In January 2012, Lucy Letby started work in the neonatal unit of the Countess of Chester Hospital, a place dedicated to caring for newborns with medical needs, including premature babies, and those requiring specialist support. Initially, colleagues described her role as one focused on helping infants and supporting families during some of their most challenging moments. However, during her early years on the unit, there were already some clinical mistakes noted. In 2013, she and a colleague mistakenly set an infusion rate incorrectly, leading to a short suspension from administering certain medications while she received further training. Later, in 2016, she administered antibiotics that had not been prescribed, a mistake she described as minor, but one that resulted in her being moved from night shifts to day shifts. Despite these incidents, Letby continued working in the neonatal unit and also completed additional neonatal specialization training. Between June 2015 and June 2016, something unusual began to occur within the neonatal unit at the Countess of Chester Hospital. A cluster of serious medical deteriorations and deaths among infants began to draw the attention of senior clinicians. Though neonatal care involves high-risk cases, the frequency and severity of these incidents stood out compared to normal expectations. What later drew investigative focus was that during many of these events, Lucy Letby was present on duty, a pattern that became central to the case against her. Staff began raising concerns and asking whether there was a connection that needed deeper review. By the summer of 2016, senior doctors urged hospital management to remove Letby from clinical duties while investigations continued. She was transferred out of the neonatal unit and moved into administrative roles within the hospital. The investigation took several years. In July 2018, after extensive inquiries by hospital staff and police, Lucy Letby was arrested on suspicion of harming infants under her care. In November 2020, she was formally charged with multiple counts related to the deaths and serious illnesses of newborns, leading to a long and complex trial at Manchester Crown Court. During the proceedings, prosecutors presented medical analysis, staffing pattern data, and handwritten notes found at her home. In August 2023, after months of testimony and jury deliberation, Lucy Letby was found guilty of murdering 7 infants and attempting to murder 7 others during her time at the Countess of Chester Hospital. A later retrial confirmed guilt on an additional attempt count. She received multiple whole-life prison orders, the most serious sentence available in the UK, meaning she will not be released. The convictions made international headlines and sparked ongoing debate, not only because of the scale of the case, but also because of how complex medical evidence is interpreted in the court. Some commentators and medical experts have questioned aspects of the statistical and clinical interpretations used in the prosecution. A group of international specialists reviewed parts of the medical evidence and suggested alternative explanations could exist in some instances. Lucy Letby has maintained her innocence, and her legal team has pursued appeal and review efforts. Supporters argue that additional scientific perspectives should be considered. Courts to date have upheld the convictions. The impact of the case continues beyond the courtroom. Investigations expanded into hospital oversight, leadership decisions, and how concerns were handled at the time. Senior hospital officials have faced scrutiny over their responses during the period when the incidents occurred. Formal inquests into several of the infant deaths have been opened to further examine the medical and institutional circumstances surrounding the events. The story of Lucy Letby sits at the intersection of healthcare, law, and public trust. It is a deeply emotional and complex case that continues to prompt discussion about hospital safety systems, investigative methods, and how expert medical evidence is evaluated in court. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to InfoBird for more interesting stories.